Hello, this is Daniel Mart, and today I'm going to be doing another review. This time around, I'm going to be doing a review for Everest, and it stars Jason Clarke, Jake Gyllenhaal, Martin Henderson, Thomas P. Wright, Ang Pula Sherpa, Charlotte Bovingo, Tom Goodman Hill, Chris Riley, John Hawkes, right? John Hawkes, Michael Kelly, Dante, Todd Boyce, Simon Harris, Amy Schindler, Pemba Sherpa, and there's who are the big name actors here? Um, Emily Watson, Sam Worthington, Keira Knightley. There we go. Elizabeth Debicki, Josh Brolin. Yeah, I said Jake Gyllenhaal already. Justin Salinger, Robin Wright, Vanessa Kirby, Mia Goth, and Clive Staten. And aside from that, that's basically all the important actors, actresses in this movie. So yeah, before I begin, though, 10-second spoiler warning as usual for those who have yet to actually watch this movie and haven't already. Stop the video, go check it out, and come back and watch the rest of this review. 10-second spoiler warning as usual, starting now. Okay, so 10 seconds are up. So for those who have yet for those who have yet to actually watch the movie and haven't already, please don't comment down below or be messaging me that I never gave you a fair warning. 'Cause as usual, I did. So yeah, as usual, quick synopsis, likes and dislikes, and then the rate. So basically, in this movie, it's a true life event, a true story. Basically of this climbing expedition to Mount Everest, and you have these two groups of people. One of them is led by Jake Gyllenhaal, if I'm not mistaken, and the other one is led by Josh Brolin, if I'm not mistaken. You have these two groups, and they're basically caught in this storm, I guess you could say, it's like ice storm in Mount Everest, and some of them die, some of them survive. Who lives? Yeah. Now this movie is kind of interesting because you have people like Jake Gyllenhaal, Josh Brolin. You have some of these bigger name actors. Jason Clarke's in it too, and John Hawkes and Chris Riley. I think those would be like your big name actors. In this movie. I mean, you have Emily Watson Emily Watson, Sam Worthington, and Keira Knightley as well. So you do have some of your big name actors, and you kind of expect most of them to live. And no, aside from like three of them, most of them die. Right? Aside from like three or four of them, most of them die. Out in this expedition, and that was pretty interesting in my opinion to see. I mean, because we do see deaths in movies from time to time, but normally we don't see them from the main actor, the main. I mean, sometimes we do, sometimes we don't, but we don't know. Like in a movie with so many A-list actors, we normally don't see. Probably wouldn't see more than like one A-list actor getting axed. We would have seen maybe one A-list actor and like the rest of the B and C-list actors getting axed. But no, for the most part, we do get like a few B-list actors killed, a few C-list actors killed, and then like 5 A-list actors off. So that was pretty interesting. Again, so yeah, I think that's the most interesting part of this movie, just who gets killed off. And this is based on a true story, so yeah. An interesting thing though, which I actually didn't realize until I read the trivia on IMDb, and I kind of had to think about it, think back, and I'm like, oh yeah, that did happen. Nepal or whatever was hit by an earthquake a couple months ago, and apparently this was shot during that earthquake or whatever, or they were shooting during the time of that earthquake. So what they did basically, what the movie did, is that what they were or are doing. I'm not sure if they're still doing it, but they were gonna donate a lot of money that the movie made to Nepal to help the situation, because Everest, for those who don't know, is in Nepal or around Nepal. So yeah, that was pretty cool, pretty interesting fact. For the most part, this movie has pretty good acting, pretty good writing. The one major issue with this movie is just a pacing issue, in my opinion. Um, the plot is just kind of muddled, in my opinion. Like, you see characters fading in and out. You really don't know who's gonna survive, and it's not really clear who survived to like the very end, when they literally have to explain to you, in the memoriam, who died and who survived. Because you see Jake Gyllenhaal getting killed, um, by the storm hypothermia, and they do explain it that after a certain point, your body is literally gonna just start dying off logically because of hypothermia and whatever other things that will happen there. So it literally just cuts. It's not really well cut in my opinion, because it cuts from like Jake Gyllenhaal on the side of this cliff, dying. Then it cuts to Jason Clark climbing down the hill. But then you really don't see Jake Gyllenhaal till like the end of the movie, and in between there you see Jason Clark trying to survive. You see like Chris Riley like getting killed off or whatever. Jason Hawks. I don't remember if Jason Hawks lived. I mean, I could search it up. But I mean, John Hawks. I'm sorry, but I could search it up. But they kind of just throw death at you, and it is pretty cool to see like people dying. Like with this one guy just literally falls off the cliff, and like so for the most part, most of them do die out of hypothermia. But there are a few of them who kind of just fall. And I'm like, oh shit, that was dark. I mean, it's realistic but dark. But the one major issue is the fact that you really don't know who's dying and who, because it's the plot is just kind of hard to follow because you don't really know who's dying and who's alive till like the very end of the movie, and even after that you sometimes still don't know who was who, in my opinion. So yeah, and yeah, I mean the good part is that whole storm situation didn't really start till like the last 45 minutes of the thing. I mean, we saw glimpses of it throughout the movie, like there's cold winds and whatever, but we really didn't see anything noteworthy of it till like the last 45 minutes. Because anything before that was just character development, explaining how your body's literally gonna die, and usually exposition is kind of boring in my opinion. Like exposition like that, where the movie has to literally tell the audience how this is gonna go. But in a movie such as this, it makes sense that they would have a scene where they would explain to the hikers that after a certain point your body's gonna start dying and this is what will happen. And it was pretty interesting in my opinion. Overall, though, it was a pretty good movie. Um, Now that I'm talking about it, I was gonna give it a higher grade, but now that I'm actually talking about it, I don't think I think I'm gonna lower the grade. And yeah, I mean, I was just expecting so much from this movie. I mean, and it is really. This is the type they're showing this in IMAX 3D, and I do recommend you guys check it out in IMAX 3D because the sound is incredible. The visuals are incredible. They do incorporate the 3D aspect of the movie into a film. They do incorporate the whole 3D aspect of it into the film, and that is pretty good. I mean, and there are tense moments. Like you have this one part where some of the hikers have to cross this rickety ass ladder or whatever, or bridge or whatever, and one of the guys almost falls over. That was pretty tense, and that was pretty tense for the first part, and then after they're like, does it really matter if he's gonna die or not? Eh. Um. So yeah, and that's another issue with the movie. They build up tense, and then kind of just goes to nowhere, in my opinion. So yeah, I mean, I was gonna give this movie a high grade, but now that I'm actually talking about it, uh, yeah, this movie's gonna get a fucking beating. The ending, the last third act was kind of all over the place in my opinion. It wasn't really focused. It kind of just jumps between characters, and you really don't know who's who. In my opinion, they build up tense, and then kind of they build up tense, and at the end, it's really nothing. Kind of just goes on to be nothing. The sound was great though. Great visuals, great, pretty good acting, pretty good writing. It's not the best writing, it's not the best acting. Yeah, I mean Jake Gyllenhaal. I'm kind of disappointed on. I mean, I know he doesn't have a major role in this movie, but so I was a bit disappointed in just the way he kind of portrayed the character. And I'm assuming that that's the how the real person was. That's how the real life person was. But I was kind of disappointed because after I've watched Southpaw and Nightcrawler, just to have kind of this. I wouldn't say a mediocre role, but kind of just, or I wouldn't say mediocre role or small role, because there's no problem with him having a small role, but just with him having this kind of lackluster role is what I'm actually trying to say. It's kind of disappointing. And yeah, I mean, it was a disappointment in my opinion. Yeah, and it's this some of the movies that came out this week were disappointments. This one and Black Mass, I think, were disappointments in my opinion. My Black Mass review is already up or should be up depending which one I post first. But yeah, both of those movies were Everest and Black Mass were both a disappointment. I thought they would be better. Um, So yeah, on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being the worst, 10 being the best, and 6 being decent. This is actually gonna be a really tough score. I'm gonna go straight down the middle. I was originally gonna give this an 8 out of 10, but now that I'm actually talking about it, I want to give it a 7 out of 10. But then again, I feel like giving it a 7 out of 10 is too generous. So I want to give it a 6.5 out of 10. But at 6.5, I think I'm being too harsh on it. So at the end, I'm gonna give a score of 6.75 out of 10. So 6.75 out of 10. For Everest. So yeah, on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being the worst, 10 being the best, and 6 being decent, I'd give this movie a 6.75 out of 10. It's right down the middle. Not too generous, not too harsh. So yeah, it benefits me. Originally I was gonna give this an 8 out of 10, but after I'm actually talking about it, 6.75 seems fair. Not too generous not too generous, so I won't give it a 7 out of 10. But not too harsh, so I won't give it a 6.5. So 6.75 out of 10 is what I'd give this movie. And yeah, that's basically it for this review. Subscribe if you're not already subscribed. I do movie reviews, TV show reviews, and comic book reviews. Comment down below on your thoughts on the movie. Have you seen it? And if not, why not? And if you have, what are your thoughts on it? Comment all that down below. Let me know. Like the video, share on Facebook, Twitter, MySpace, or whatever you guys prefer. And that's basically it for now. This is Daniel Mart signing off.